Today, we're going to decode the universal language of how-to. We're diving deep to uncover the hidden principles that make a set of instructions actually, work. And our guide for this is something you probably haven't thought about in years: a simple English language textbook. Yeah, you heard me right. So let's get into it. So have you ever been there? You're staring at a diagram that looks more like abstract art. You've got a pile of mysterious screws and just this growing sense of dread. You follow all the steps, you think you've absolutely nailed it, and then, oh no. You realize the main shelf is completely upside down. That frustration is so real, and it all comes down to how well or how poorly the instructions were written. Look at this. On one side, a super simple recipe for breakfast. On the other, the notoriously complicated job of putting furniture together. They're both just sets of instructions, right? Both are designed to get you from point A to point B. So why does one feel so easy and the other feel like you're taking a final exam? Let's figure that out. All right, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the problem itself. Then we'll decode some simple everyday tasks. From there, we're going to raise the stakes to see what happens when instructions can literally save your life. Then we'll get into the grammar, the real engine behind it all. And finally, we'll crack the clarity code that you can use for just about anything. So our guide for this whole journey is this English textbook. But I want you to forget about boring school lessons. We're treating this thing like an expert document, a masterclass in how to break down complex actions into simple, totally understandable steps. It's meant to teach a language, sure, but in doing that, it perfectly teaches the language of instruction. Okay, let's start with something fun and low stakes: making a kite. Just look at how it uses this great combo of visuals and really minimal text. It doesn't overwhelm you, right? It just kind of invites you in with a simple promise: easy kites. And if we break down that diagram, what do we get? 5 clear, logical steps. Every single one describes a single action: cut, make, attach. There's no room for confusion. It's just a perfect, simple example of a clear procedure. But what happens when the stakes get much, much higher? Because, sometimes instructions aren't about building a fun little toy. Sometimes they are the only thing standing between you and a real emergency. And when that happens, the principles of clarity don't just change, they become exponentially more important. Think about it. When there's a fire, you do not have time to sit and try to figure out confusing sentences. The instructions have to be immediate, they have to be memorable, and they have to be foolproof. Notice the huge, bold letters here, the simple illustrations. This is communication that's designed for when you're under stress. These are the famous PASS steps: pull, aim, squeeze, sweep. 4 words, 4 actions. It's actually a mnemonic device built right into the procedure itself. So this isn't just a list, it's a life-saving algorithm that's designed to be remembered and used under extreme pressure. The form of the instruction perfectly matches its function. It's brilliant. And that exact same need for precision applies right here. Take a look at this medicine label. The key information is front and center. How much should you take? 1 capsule daily. Who is it for? Well, we can see on another label from our source material: not for children under 12 years. These details, they're not just suggestions, they are strict commands where one little mistake could have really serious consequences. And that's really the heart of it for this section. Whether we're talking about a fire extinguisher or a bottle of medicine, clear instructions remove doubt. And when the stakes are that high, removing doubt is absolutely everything. Okay, so we've seen what makes for good instructions, but why do they work so well? What's the secret sauce? Well, the secret is actually hidden in the engine of the language itself. And to find it, we're heading into the textbook's grammar zone. Get ready for it. The secret weapon is the simple present tense. It's the tense we use for things that are just true. Facts, habits, things that don't change. It's incredibly direct, it's declarative, and it has this authority that other tenses just don't have. And this is where it all clicks. A simple grammar rule connects to everything we've been talking about. The sun rises in the east. That's a fact, right? An instruction like pull the pin is delivered with that exact same factual force. It's not, you should probably maybe pull the pin. Nope, it's pull the pin. It's a command disguised as a simple truth. And that, right there, is the grammar of getting things done. Okay, time to bring it all together. We've seen the good, the bad, and the life-saving. We've peeked under the hood at the grammar. So what are the universal rules we can pull from all this? What really is the code for clarity? You know, the textbook actually gives us the single most important role right in its summary. And this applies whether you're reading instructions or trying to write them. Every single step matters. The whole process is like a chain, and just one missed link can break the whole thing. It's why you can never ever skip a step, and why you can never assume your audience is just going to fill in the blanks. So here it is, the code. First, use direct active verbs. Pull, cut, squeeze, aim. Second, always present the steps in a logical, chronological order. Third, number them. I know it sounds so obvious, but you'd be amazed how often people forget this. Fourth, keep your language simple and your sentences short. And finally, the golden rule we saw with the medicine label. Assume nothing. If it matters, you have to specify. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What about in your life? Think about your work, your hobbies, maybe even how you explain things to your family. What's one process that could be made simpler, or safer, or just a whole lot less frustrating with a little dose of the clarity code we've unpacked today? Because at the end of the day, clear instruction isn't just about building kites, it's about building understanding. Thanks for joining me.